job then. I worked with former Director Robert Latham. Has spent 25 years responding to disasters, and so is here today to look at the effects of the storm here, to be able to work with Glenn and with MEMA to make sure that we are continuing to respond as fast as possible, while certainly being careful and deliberate in the way we go about it. I'll recognize Bob for comments. So we'll tell you that I had an opportunity to speak with the President yesterday as he called and informed me that he had signed the Federal Declaration of Emergency, and I had spoke with him the night before as he offered his condolences for the 4 Mississippians that were lost and expressed his concerns for the damage here and across the South. We talked about Georgia. Bob has been there this morning, 18 people there. I've reached out to Governor Deal. And so we understand what they are going through, but our major concern here are with the people who are suffering through this disaster. But with FEMA's help, and I think what you will hear today, the hard work of the mayor, the boards of supervisors, all the first responders, the emergency management director, as I was telling Director Fenton coming over here, with hope FEMA realizes that this, I think, is the absolute best response I've seen in a disaster. And I've seen, not as many as him, but I've seen a lot of them. But we have had enough practice, unfortunately. But the people who are in this room today have done a remarkable job. Now it is time to make the victims whole, or the people who had damage, make them whole. FEMA will be able to tell you more in detail about how we are going to open the service centers. And also with us today is the Speaker of the House, Philip Gunn. We again viewed the damage from the air. It is looking much better. It is remarkable to see the difference when I came in that Saturday afternoon and today. The debris removal, the people who are still out picking up and clearing debris on their own, the power lines that are up, again, Southern Power, Dixie Electric, the other power companies that were involved, to see that over 400 poles that were down, most of them are back up. The heavy transmission lines, 30 of them that were down, the thousands of people that were out without power. Now everyone that can take power, I believe, has taken and can take it, has power now. So this is remarkable. This is 4.5 days ago when this system moved into the Pine Belt. So Bob, if you would come forward, again, the acting director of FEMA, Mr. Bob Fenton. Bob,
thank you, Governor. Well, hey, thank you for having me here today, Governor. First, let me just give our sympathies and prayers to those families that lost loved ones during the event, and for those communities impacted from this event. As I was coming over here and the governor was telling me about the impacts from this event, I was actually telling him that he is getting so good at this, unfortunately, that he should come up and think about, after being governor, being administrator of FEMA. So he is becoming an expert on this, and that's unfortunate. But I think that goes to show how well the communities work together. You know, the governor, the mayor, elected officials across your state, and the first responders and private sector, public sector, and the volunteer agencies, not only during the response, but they'll be critical as we go forward to the recovery, to continue to work together over the days, weeks, and months ahead as we help those recover from this storm. FEMA has now declared individual assistance. The President has declared individual assistance for this event, which allows us to help individuals recover from this event, and we will work with other federal agencies to make those individuals whole from this event. Individuals should reach out to FEMA. We have teams right now in the field looking to register individuals. You could do that through our website at disasterassistance.gov, or you could phone 1-800-621-3362 or FEMA to get to someone from FEMA and register for assistance to start that application process. Through that process, we'll also connect you with other federal agencies like SBA and others that may be able to help you recover from this event. We look forward to the continued partnership and working with those from Mississippi. Yesterday, I had a chance to meet with the president and brief him on what's happening in Georgia and Mississippi. And one of the things he wanted to make sure is that, one, we're doing everything we can at FEMA to ensure that we help those affected from the storm, and we do it as quick as we can. Our teams have been down here this week from the beginning of the storm, assessing the damage, working with the state and local government, and we look forward to the partnership as we work together over the weeks and months ahead. Thank you.
Thanks for being here again. I want to thank our congressional delegation. I think Congressman Plazo is on guard duty today at Camp Shelby, or he would certainly be here. As Phil Director is here. He was here with me on that Saturday, immediately surveying the damage and helping. I've been in contact with both Senator Wicker and Senator Cochran. They sent letters of support to the President. So again, this has been a remarkable effort with those in Mississippi, and particularly today. I know the Lieutenant Governor was down, I believe, yesterday, and today the Speaker of the House is here. I'd like to recognize Philip Gunn, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Governor. I appreciate that. I just wanted to come down here today and say how much the legislature stands behind the people of the Pine Belt. We are very concerned that this has happened, and I just wanted to come and say that as legislators, we are standing ready and willing to assist in whatever way we can. You have a great group of delegates, representatives from this region, senators and House members who are working very hard. This has been a topic of conversation ever since we convened this week. We have prayed for this region, and we stand ready to help in any way that we can. Again, your representatives and your senators from this region have worked very hard to make sure your interests are represented and that all the needs are met. So thank you for letting me come here today. I want to thank the Governor for allowing me to be here and just to offer our concern and let you know that we stand ready and willing to help. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I've thanked everybody here, but Glenn Moore, our director, local director here, has done an outstanding job. Bob, I might send him to Washington. Colonel Smithson, if you'd come forward now with details about the service centers. Colonel Smithson.
Well, thank you, Governor, Mr. Speaker, Administrator. As Administrator Fenton said, the most important thing that we've got going on is getting our survivors registered for individual assistance. To repeat the number again that Administrator Fenton said, 1-800-621-3362, 800-621-FEMA, or register online at www.disasterassistance.gov. We ask that everyone do the best they can to register before they go to the disaster recovery centers, because we can start processing their claims immediately. When you register either by phone or on the internet, you'll need to provide the following information: your Social Security number, and that's just one Social Security number per household, the address of the damaged home, description of the damage, information about insurance coverage, a good telephone number for them to reach out to you, a mailing address, and your bank account and routing numbers for direct deposits. We ask that when you do go to the disaster recovery centers, which will be, let me give you the addresses of the DRCs first. The DRC in Hattiesburg is the C.E. Roy Community Center at 300 East 5th Street in Hattiesburg, and in Petal is the Petal Civic Center at 712 Main Street. So we ask that when you go to the disaster recovery centers, please understand that in addition to seeing FEMA, Small Business Administration will be there, as well as our volunteer organizations, faith-based and non-governmental organizations like the Red Cross. When you get FEMA grant money, you will not be made whole. The intent is to make the home safe and habitable. So in order to get repairs to make your home whole again is where our volunteer organizations come in. So even if you've registered online and the FEMA individual assistance people come to your home and process your claim, we ask that when time permits, and you can, is to get into the disaster recovery centers so that you can get other applications for other assistance. As I said, the maximum household grant is $33,000. That will not mean that everyone gets $33,000. So if you're not going to get the full amount, we again ask that you look at Small Business Administration and other organizations. In addition to our disaster recovery centers, we have the volunteer response centers. And that's where volunteers can go in to volunteer to assist, and that's where people needing assistance can go to and request assistance. Those 2 volunteer response centers that we have now are the East Jerusalem Baptist Church in Hattiesburg, and again, the Petal Civic Center. So we're asking everyone to don't wait for the DRCs to open up, start the registration process now, and then FEMA, MEMA, Small Business Administration people will be out canvassing the communities really starting tomorrow. Thank you.
The last thing I would say is to the media here, the information that you will help us put out, these phone numbers, these locations are so important. The general public, those that are affected, will be looking to you to help provide that information. That is the question that we're getting the most, is where do I go and who do I call? So this will be very helpful just to share that information. Also, we will warn the general public to be careful about fraud. There are people who will be coming into the communities representing themselves as contractors, and they will be asking to be able to perform particular tasks in the community. And I know the Attorney General's office has already reached out and made warnings about that. That's important. If I'm right, Mr. Director, FEMA personnel will not be calling directly and asking the general public for their Social Security numbers. So we want to be careful that we are responding to those that have been affected by the storm, but unfortunately there is always that fraud element that someone will try to perpetrate. And believe me, we are very cautious about that, and we'll be very determined to make sure that we protect the public from that. Any questions? Thank you all for being here. We'll get to work. All right, thank you. Thank you.